Okay, so now we have our person class. The next step for us is to create a table with the fields that we want. So what I'm going to do is, instead of creating the tables in this default schema public, I'm going to create a new schema because I want to mimic a real world application. So instead of using pgadmin, I'm going to write SQL queries. And instead of running directly these SQL queries here, I'm first going to write them in our application so we can have them as reference. So in this resources folder, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to name it create table scripts.sql. And the first step for me is to create a schema. If not exist, this is a nice syntax we have in Postgres. And basically, if the schema exists, it will skip this statement. And I'm going to name it Office, because we want to have like an office management application where we have person, departments, and so on. And the next step for me is to create a table person. Now I'm going to create table person, if not exists, and here persons, like this. And then I'm going to put an ID, and I'm going to put it serial primary key, which will create for me a sequence and will auto increment it. Then I'm going to put a name, not null. I'm going to put an email, not null. Now I also want a phone number, not null. And I'm going to add two more columns, created, which is a timestamp, and updated, which is also a timestamp. And basically these two columns will be populated when a new row is created. It will insert the date in which the row is created, and when an existing row is updated, it will put here the timestamp. And what I want to do is I want to add a constraint, and let me just put the name unique email, and the constraint should be unique on my column email. So what basically this will do behind the scenes is Postgres will put a unique index on my email column because I want the email to be unique, as it is in a real world scenario. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my pgadmin. I'm going to type here query tool. Let's first create the schema. Okay, I have created the schema. Let me refresh this. Okay, the schema has been created. And now let me just take this here. And let me do this. Okay, so I think I need to put if not exists before the name of the table. And now it has been created. Let me just update this syntax here. And now if I refresh this, I see that the table is not here. Let me refresh the public. Okay, so I see the table has been created to public. Now, why is that? Because by default, Postgres has the search path or your current schema set to public. So if I type here show search path, you will see that it's public. So instead of creating this table in the office schema, it has created in the public schema. Now to do this, I can just type here set search path in my pgadmin, and I will type this office like this, and now it should set my search path to office, and my default schema now is office. Now I can do something like this, and it's basically the same, but I just wanted to not manually type this. So now let me just delete this table from the public schema. Okay, let me also, okay, also this sequence has been deleted, and now let me just create this. Now let's see if it has been created here. Okay, so it has been created in my office schema. Okay, so that's all. Now we have created our table, we have our person. The next step is to map this person class with our table in our database.